Hi guys, Artiar here. So this video is being requested by a lot of member to actually mention that they doesn't really know how to build their own PvP team, and then they really want a video guide for that part. But for first thing, I want to say that I'm not really good at building those kind of things, because in PvP it really depends on the enemy, like what kind of enemy you are going to fight and what kind of team you're going to use. So let's say in Point War, for example, let's say this team here. Like you see, everyone here in my top tier everyone is using Wuyou, right? But every Wuyou team here have different team comp as well. So for example, this one here is a Wuyou team with Iki, so the team build is slightly different. And then this one here is a Wuyou team that is with R6 Suje with Chuyao, and the team build will be slightly different as well. So every team build that you face is different, and because of the team is different, so the enemy team is different, then your team build have to be different as well. So it is very hard to like, is there an optimal build that is like I can use it everywhere? Not really, but we have something as like the team example. So let's take knockout example, right? So every single team in the game there's always like a base concept thing. So for my example, I'm now currently ranked at knockout 26. Then I'll be something, let's say this one is called the Jinqiu Mavis combo, right? The Jinqiu Mavis toxic team that is usually paired with Iki. And then this one here is just a Tiye basic comp, because I use the other stronger Tom in this patch. I still use the Tiye comp here, and you can see I put Tiye, and then I put Clara as an AP pusher, and then I put some support Esper and 2 DPS Esper here. It's not a meta team, but as long as you know what kind of team you have advantage on, then you can actually use this kind of team. Then the other team comp will be Toland speed comp with Fushi, Embla, and Feng Shun in the team. Then Clara here, I put Hilda here is just for in case I really get outspeed. So that's actually a base concept within most of the team. Like this one is Jinqiu Mavis, this one is Fushi Embla, this one is just a TA speed team that you can fit in any DPS here. And then my dispatch here is the Chuyao Suje comp, and then the fifth one here is Wuyou comp. Like every team in the game here is actually have a base bread and butter. It's just that how are you going to optimize the team with what Esper you have. Alright, so let me go into the team build idea now. So first thing, for example, Wuyou comp, right? A lot of you have are asking like how are you gonna build a Wuyou comp? But in my opinion, Wuyou comp, that's actually the bread and butter version of it. So it's gonna be Wuyou herself and Sakura. This is the bread and butter. Then you add in Lien into it as well to make it the most simple Wuyou team. So this is the basic Wuyou team you're gonna build within them. Like why are you forced to use the R6 Lien is because at the start of the combat, so let's say you put a full defender team, right? Like something like this. Right, at the start of combat, no one is actually healing your team, because let's say you're definitely going to get outspeed. So let's say they're going to put like Chuyao and Jinqiu. Then they are able to actually have a chance to actually wipe your whole team by the Jinqiu's true damage, and you have no chance to heal because Sakura, even though it's pretty fast, but you are not as fast as the other team, and you can actually get killed easily. So let's say Tiye. So let's say enemy is using a Tiye to AP swap, because TA S3 have an AP swap in her kit, and you can see within this team here, who is the fastest speed is Sakura. So Sakura will get the AP swap by TA, and if Sakura not able to cast her S3, then your other team here is actually not getting any healing at all. So without the R6 Lien, you're actually getting counter pretty easily with getting AP down or getting control, and your Sakura not able to cast S3, that is basically useless for a Wuyou team. You'll slowly get killed by them. Right, so I would say these three is a bread and butter, and the rest of the 2 slot here really depends if you want to slot in more defender, such as let's say Liam or Haley, or let's say Changji, or let's say Fushi. Any defender will do as long as you have these 3 Esper here. Right, but personally for me, as you can see just now, I actually put in Liam and Momo in a team, right? Let me refresh it. I'm not sure already. My original team? Yeah, I put in Liam and Momo here. So the reason why I put Liam here is because it's a defender, right? And then Liam here will provide some extra healing, and then it will push the Liam buff to Momo, so Momo is able to counter the other Wuyou team. Because if I don't put these two Esper here, let's say I put the other defender like Donner and Changji, for example, then it's a typical Wuyou team that with a R6 lane here, so you get the stack very fast, but you don't have true damage in your team. So when you face other team of Wuyou, it really depends on the RNG of which Wuyou crits more or which Wuyou deals more damage, and it's more reso based on the Wuyou. So instead of that, I put in Momo here to make my team able to counter the other Wuyou team. So if you look at my report here for the dispatch in my Wuyou team, some of my wins are against a higher reso Wuyou as well, even though it's the same team, but because my leader is a HP leader, not defense leader. And then for example, let's say this one, you see I can win other Wuyou team because I slot in Momo, and because I put a leader of Sakura here. Okay, so this is a Wuyou team comp. So the last two slot here is pretty flexible. You can slot in anything you want. So let's say if you want to put Chuyao plus Suje here, it's also doable. Like Suje here, then Chuyao will protect Suje. Suje will in charge the true damage to deal to other Wuyou team. But it will be too focused on one team here, because it's like putting all the eggs into one basket, while in knockout you want to spread. But if you are building a team in bid bout, you can put them in a basket, because like in bid bout here, you only need two teams, so you can put like more focus Esper into a team here, right? So it really depends on what kind of content and what kind of team you're gonna face. So this is the Wuyou team base comp. Then the other one is gonna be Chuyao. So Chuyao team here is basically Chuyao plus any main DPS Esper you want to build. So let's say I want to make Jinqiu useful. Then you're gonna put Jinqiu here and put Chuyao here. Then this Chuyao buff will apply to Jinqiu. So Jinqiu will have healing on hit, and Jinqiu will be the highest attacker, right? So it will get a buff. But if you're making this kind of team, you have to avoid of putting another high DPS Esper such as Suje here, right? Because Suje have 4,500 plus 1,300 is 5,800 attack. Meanwhile, my Jinqiu is 5,700. So the buff will go to Suje instead of Jinqiu. So you have to avoid this kind of situation. So let's say I want to make Jinqiu useful in this team. So I will be putting Chuyao plus Jinqiu, then some other Esper that will support the team. So let's say I want to avoid my Chuyao getting outspeed. So you can put in like Ethan to ensure you're getting the speed first. So let's say because this Jinqiu here is a attack set and Avatara set, so it won't be that good, because Jinqiu is really relying on her S2 to get the stack faster. Then maybe you can put in something like Haley to share the Ocean Wave set to Jinqiu, because Haley here will focus on the highest attack sharing equipment, something like that. And then the last slot here, you can either put in some, you can notice like, okay, I have a speed leader now, I have a main DPS Esper now, I have Ethan to help me speed up, and Ethan is also a debuffer and immunity Esper. Then I have Haley to share equipment, basically another support. So I have two support Esper now, but this team is lacking of healer, right? So if you want healer, so let's say you can put in like Clara as a healer, or you want to put in like Jinqiu Yao to cleanse and also as a sub healer as well, or Clara, something like that as a healer. So you have to know that what thing is lacking in your team, right? So this is a typical Chuyao team. So just one main DPS, and then the rest you can put it as a support. So, or for example, if you want Chuyao plus Anna, then you have to make sure Anna is your highest attack in your team here, which it will be as long as you don't put another DPS. And then the last slot here, let's say if you're gonna fight like a Mavis team, right? And then you're like, oh, I don't want to face the RNG, then you put in Petros. Just make sure that your Petros attack is not higher than Anna, but it usually won't. Okay, then or else you can like take away Petros, and let's say I need a very solid healer, then you can put in like lane you're gonna use it and Wuyou team, right? So maybe you can put in like Victim Sister, so it will provide some invincibility, cleanse, and AP down as well. So it will be something like this. Alright, so what if you're gonna build like a Tiye team? So Tiye team is also the same thing as Chuyao, but it requires 2 DPS. So let's say like Tiye and Ethan are 2. If you are manually your own Tiye, let's say you are using Tiye in your matchmaking content, like the one here, you are able to pick your own opponents, then you can put Tiye without a R2 Ethan, because you already know that which Esper you will outspeed, right? Without a R2 Ethan, so because you already know the speed. So let's say you put Tiye, and then you put in Donner here as a DPS, and then make sure your team here have another multi-hit Esper just in case you are fighting Anna. So let's say you want to put in Armir here, or if you don't want to put Armir, it's fine, just slot in another DPS. Let's say Elaine, or let's say Jinqiu is totally fine. It doesn't matter because it's not restricted like Chuyao's Aegis buff. Okay, then when you have 2 solid DPS Esper here, then the rest here is more about AP pushing and about healing. So why AP pushing is like, Tiye is an AP pusher, right? But mine is R6. Yours is probably not R6. So when your Tiye is not R6, your S3 here might actually have a chance to not absorb the enemy AP and not able to AP push your team fast enough. So it's still better to slot in an AP pusher such as Clara. So Clara here will be taking care the... Where's my Clara? So it will be taking care of the healing slot and also the AP pusher slot. Right, then the last slot here, you can start to notice that, oh, this team doesn't have an aggressive buffer. So I have a Donner here that provides himself immunity. I have Jinqiu here to do damage. I have Clara here to provide defensive buff, healing, and AP push, but that doesn't have any aggressive buffer. So aggressive buffer, so you can think of such as Sienna is an aggressive buffer because of the attack up, and then have AP down as well, or such as you're not gonna put Brewster in because Brewster is a crit rate buffer, but it's more to a DPS slot, so you don't want to put Brewster in. So something like Ashley, because it provides the attack up, or Dahlia, or Yamato to provide the attack up, defense up, something like that. So if for me, I will build something like that, which is 2 DPS slot, 1 buffer provide, 1 AP pusher, and this one is a speed leader. Because usually you want to play speed leader unless it's like Mavis comp or Wuyou comp, right? Then let me introduce another Mavis comp. So even though Mavis comp kind of fell off now, but it's still one of the meta team you want to use in knockout or as your sub team in beatbox. Right, so Mavis comp you have, and for sure you're gonna pair with Jinqiu just to provide the protection to Mavis. This is very important, like no one is able to replace Jinqiu in this Mavis team comp. Then when you have these 2 Esper here, then who will be the other 3 slot? So it will usually typical is gonna be Iki to provide the passive attack, because your Iki will die because it's a very glass cannon or paper cannon. Even though it's like R1 to provide invisibility, it's still very paper cannon. So you usually want to pair Iki and then with Mavis Jinqiu. So for me, I usually pair it like this. And then who will be the teammate? If you are not using Jinqiu yet, you can put in Jinqiu to help Mavis to absorb more damage, because Mavis will only get the protection buff from Jinqiu when Mavis provide the crit rate up. But if your Mavis never take an action, or your Mavis face a Toland team, then it will not provide that. So before Mavis take her action, you want to protect Mavis by letting the enemy one-shot Mavis. So as per like Jinqiu as per like Archibald here will provide a very good damage sponge, because Archibald will get some damage share from Mavis, and Jinqiu here will also provide. But usually I'll pair Archibald here because Archibald will be very useful with Mavis only. Like Archibald individually is not that good, so I would pair it something like this, right? So these 3, it will be my own 1-pack combo, and then I'll put in Iki here. Then I will be starting to think like, will I need more passive damage? Because I have the main DPS here is gonna be Iki. I have Jinqiu here to be my sub DPS, Archibald here as a debuffer and DPS. This team here doesn't need an AP pusher, because AP pusher is more usually you rely on a speed comp. So this comp here is not going to play speed. You have to know that what kind of role is your team comp. So I know that this team comp here, I doesn't need an AP pusher because I no need to be fast. My Iki here, I want the enemy to be fast. I want to actually able to survive from the damage. So with that said, I would the last slot here, I would suggest putting some healer plus buffer at the same time, such as Phantom Sister is able to provide some clans, all those stuff as a healer to heal back Mavis. It's not to heal Iki. Iki can die here. It doesn't matter because Mavis will make him survive anyway. And the reason I put Iki at the first slot, even though he's in stealth mode, when you're in stealth mode, the random damage or assist damage will actually still able to hit Iki, right? So Iki can just die, which is fine because he'll go graveless anyway. So you can, the last slot here, you can put in like, let's say Phantom Sister, or usually I'll put Sally, is just to provide, because my Sally is R6, so it will provide a damage reduction 25% at the start of combat, so Mavis won't die that easily before she able to get the Intimidate buff from Jinqiu. Or if you are afraid that this team here is getting countered by Toland, because Toland AI will always target the fastest Esper in the team. And in rival room content, Mavis speed is actually very fast. You can see if I put in Sally here, it will get countered by Toland pretty easily. So the other way to counter them back is either you put in a very fast Esper, such as like Gabriel here, is a fast rival rune Esper, or you can put in, let's say, like Unas here. Some player put Unas here just to recounter back Toland speed. So Toland S3 will ban Unas instead of Mavis. So Mavis will have a pretty solid environment. Then when the Mavis takes her action, she will provide the crit rate up buff to Jinqiu, and the moment Jinqiu get the buff, it will share the Intimidate buff to Mavis, then Mavis will get protected by shield, something like that. So it really depends on the team comp idea you want to build with, but for me personally, I would put a Sally here just because my Sally is R6 and it will give a sweet harvest at the start of combat. Alright, so this will be the Mavis, Jinqiu and Iki comp. So with that said, or some player will actually put in, let's say, Iki inside here, and then they will put Ollie here just to put another layer of protection to Mavis in case they actually kill Mavis, and Ollie have the chance to actually protect Mavis by his passive, right? So you can, so if you know that you're gonna build a Mavis Jinqiu comp, then your team idea will be surrounding how should you maintain your Mavis survival, something like that. But you also know that this team will be weak to Petros and also weak to Toland. So usually in this kind of Mavis team comp, I would make it my own manual, right? I'll manual it by myself, right? So you can see I already changed the Sally into Everett here. It's just because Everett will able to protect extra passive to my Iki, so it makes it more interesting as well. Okay, then I already cover Wuyou, I already cover the typical Tiye comp, I cover the Wuyou, the, what's that called? Jinqiu Mavis comp, and then the last one I'm gonna cover for today is gonna be the Toland comp. So the Toland comp is pretty similar concept as Tiye, just that it really requires a AP pusher. Like I mentioned the previous one, the Tiye comp, you can actually don't put a AP pusher there because Tiye is already an AP pusher. But for Toland case, when you put Toland in, Toland is so fast, even though you have a 10% AP push from the light set, then but Toland is so fast that even though after Toland take his action, you might have a chance to actually get cut off midway just because your team comp speed doesn't able to catch up with Toland. So let's say I have the typical Fushi and Blah comp here. If I put in Fushi and Blah comp, you can see there's a speed gap between Toland and Fushi, because Toland with the passive here will be at 333 speed, and then Fushi is only 266, so which means any Esper that is between this speed here have a chance to actually cut off your Fushi and Blah, and you are not able to take your Fushi and Blah comp. And as a speed team, which is a Toland team, you want to actually just do everything in before the enemy take the action. So it's either you put in like R6 Hilda here, but this is a too high investment to actually be a Fushi and Blah comp. So usually you put in Toland plus Fushi and Blah and then you put in a function here. So, cause you can see the function and Toland gap isn't that big because Toland is 333, and then with a 10% AP push from the light set, it will make your Fushi to be the second Esper to take the action, and then function here will cast the AP push because assuming you have a R2 function to AP push the team, and function provides an aggressive buff which benefits to your Fushi and Embla. Then the last slot here, it really depends. If you scared you get outspeed even though using a Toland, you can put in a R2 Ethan. Or if you are scared like facing Fushi Mavis comp, and then you're scared you will trigger the enemy Mavis passive, then you can put in like Petros here just to be safe, something like that. So if you don't have R2 function, you can put in any aggressive buffer as long as they have an AP push, such as like Dahlia here. They'll provide attack up and crit rate up because you want Fushi Embla to actually able to nuke them in one shot. And then, or you can put in, like for example, for my own Fushi Embla comp here, I slot in, who else? I slot in Hilda just in case I get outspeed by other higher reso of Toland or Toland plus Ethan combo. Right, so I slot in Hilda here just to ensure if something really goes off. But that's usually the bread and butter from the team comp. So you can see like this one here is a Toland team plus plus Mavis and Jinqiu here, so this team is pretty annoying to fight with, and especially with R6 Suje here, so I usually will skip it. Like this one is a typical Toland Fushi and Blacom. You can see they slot in with a function here for AP push, then they put in another Chuyao here just to provide another layer of support for Embla to do another more assist, but it's too much of an egg or too much of a good Esper within one team, especially in knockout. But this team is totally usable. Then the last one here is like you can see this Tiye here. We have two DPS. You see Gaius and Ashley is a DPS. Then Tiye is an AP pusher, as I mentioned. Clara is another AP pusher just in case. And Hilda R6 here just in case this Tiye team actually get outspeed by enemy, because let's say enemy have like Tiye plus R2 Ethan or Tiye or using Toland, then this Hilda will come in handy in certain situations. So you always see there's a base concept is in most of the team. Like this team here, Chuyao team here, the highest it will protect on Suje. Then he put in another 2 more DPS, but Sakura. But you can see he sacrificed a Wuyu's team main Esper, which is Sakura, into this team here. So it doesn't really make a very too solid team in my opinion, because you wasted too many Esper into one team. But this team I won't be attacking because it is a very scary team, but it sacrificed too many team core Esper into one team. So like you see another one Toland, and then you have AP pusher function here. Then this one Toland with a AP pusher function here. So you have to know the bread and butter of most of the comp here. Like this one is a pretty easy win, even though there's R6 Suje, but as long as you have a counter for R6 Suje, if Suje cannot kill you, or you have R6 Suje as well, or you have other multi-hit Esper, you can fight this team pretty easily because the other 3 Esper here are not a support. So you might actually just kill these 3 Esper and then left Chuyao and R6 Suje, and then it really depends on do you have the counter. Like Tiye speed comp here, like we have Tiye here, DPS Esper, this 2 is DPS Esper, AP pusher and a healer, but without Fushi, this Embla will die very easily. Then yeah, this one is a TA with R2 Ethan. So there's always a bread and butter or the base concept within most of the team. It really depends on how do you build in the end. So I hope this video actually helped you guys able to cover the team build question part. I don't know how good this video is going to be for you guys or helpful for you guys, but yeah, this is how I usually build my team. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Gen MP, Rosas15, Molcode Regally, The Bluest Lane, Pigeon Roulette, Kemi, thank you so much for the support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Code Wilderness, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwatts, Rimu, Choni, Von Hexa, Rawson Bessie, Antonio Winterspoon, Marilyn Williams, and Uncle Chad. Thank you so much for the support. And that's not all. Also, special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat, the latest 10. So special thanks to Pigeon Sorolit, Agni, Ziggy, Code Wardeners, Chani, and Rosas15. Thank you so much for the support and hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.